everybody. Hello, hello. Let's get this show on the road, shall we, my friends? So, what we got to do today is to prep for the thing for tomorrow, which will be that 3 hour workshop on spell creation, right? So, I've talked a lot about the each within each concept of under the planets, there's the sources, or technically, under the planets, there are the action those planets are responsible for, and the sources are found within each of the other ones as well. There's the light, dark, mind, time, life, death, and chaos, the physical body, and the dreaming body. So 9 states, all within different aspects of the energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the behaviors of each of those. So this will be on. I'll try to make it as fun as possible. But this will be the foundations on which we build our spellcraft. So when we're thinking about, oh, I want to increase this aspect of energy, or I want to use this kind of thing, these are the behaviors of the planets that I've found and that I study with, right? So when applications of the celestial magic, or in certain cases Enochian magic, when you're calling down the angels or you're calling down the higher forces instead of bringing up the lower forces, right? So you can compress time and space. So we'll start with Saturn, as that's the for transformation, right? The first one, it's responsible for pride. That's like the Saturn of the sun, right? The pattern of the moon is going to be the weakness of all and the dismissal. It's like slow. It's not. It's like molasses. Okay, that would be like the sun. The Mars aspect would be neglect of the true interests in life, because again, Mars is associated with the mind, and so it's the character linked with evil minds or evil, unhappy actions. And then we move into the communication aspect, would be the weaknesses of the stomach. Its yang aspect is of desire. In its really fucked up version, it's greed. Okay. Jupiter represents good fortune. Saturn under this could also be, or sorry, Venus under this would be the loss of goods position as a result of subjects against somebody else. Like if you're gonna fuck with somebody, you can go after their money, right? That's an old school way to fuck with somebody when it comes to magic. So if that happens, there is recourse. You do the reverse return spells. You can do all sorts of stuff to fuck up their cookies. And so we'll end where we began, with Saturn as the traits in marriage. Powerful enemies, dangerous. You got illnesses and shit like that. You can really. Saturn is a good planet for when you need to change something in a hurry, right? Like that's what you're going to open up the gates to Saturn for. And so under the Aries aspect of it, so Saturn of Aries, right? So Aries of Saturn in this case, it's obstacles of fortune. The Taurus and Saturn is good inclinations but uncertain. Yeah, but uncertain previous fortunes. So that one's gonna. It touches again on money, where you've got, like with Aries, as it's an obstacle to fortune. The Taurus is good. It's just the way that it works is like Taurus is like the brick house, right? That's going to be where energy stops moving, and it doesn't necessarily move forward. It just is. Saturn in Gemini is the perils and illness, in ingenious and positive and active nature, but many obstacles. Like, because Geminis are generally of two minds about things, one way going one direction, the other one going the other direction, they have to both be in alignment. Whatever is going on with the Gemini, or when you're calling on the Gemini state, it is using 2 states at one time to get them to move in the right direction, hopefully. Then you've got the Cancer of Saturn is going to be the intelligence and will, obstacles, fortune, the loss of goods, but it will be made up. It's got attacks of human malevolence. For Leo, it's going to be envious natures, and stuff that works on pride, so what people's self-identity. Virgo is going to be hindrances, illnesses, um, an inventive mind, aptitude for science, strength of mind against obstacles, and dangerous tasks for public life. So if you're doing anything with Virgo and Saturn together, in that case, it would be the obstacles that you would face if you're going to start talking about this stuff, right? You're going to start having conversations about, well, this is magic, well, this is what it's doing, right? It'd fuck your reputation up. They don't take you seriously, right? Like, they didn't take me seriously. But that doesn't really matter, because what at the end of the day is working is these kinds of spellcrafts, right? So then we get into Libra of Saturn, and it's good fortune, the love of science. It's contradictory nature. It does have a danger of misfortune if you're not careful with it. Kindness of elderly people in favor of highly placed personages. So this is if you're going to go do that whole elevation or status that the spirits of the Goetia are responsible for. So when you call them up, that's what it's supposed to be sentimental attachments under the yoke of attachment, under the yoke of women specifically. So it's going to be very specific attachments to a feminine energy that is going to not necessarily be in your best favor. Scorpio, in this case, it is trouble and danger. It goes in a path of every 7 to 9 years. It's good aspects. Danger will be removed in its good state. So if you want to get out of a dangerous situation, you can call on the Scorpio of Saturn or the Saturn of Scorpio. Either way, they still work to help get people out of dangerous situations. For Sagittarius, it is the torments of the mind and body, bodily suffering, imprudent actions. So it's if you're going to make somebody hastily move along, right? So then we've got Capricorn, which is troubles, hope, deception, successes followed by failure, great misfortunes, and a little melancholy. So that's going to be like the standing water aspect, whereas Taurus was the brick house. Capricorn is going to be the unmoving. It's not necessarily good. It's just it, like Taurus, it exists and it's there. The Aquarius is friends, the seeds of peaceful resolutions to stuff. There is sickness and danger that's you can work around. There's perilous in journey. So if somebody is going on a trip, you can evoke Aquarius of Saturn to calm down their shit, so to speak. They can protect them, or you can afflict them with bad travels and stuff like that. So this is why you want to be on a witch's good side if they're not happy with you. Pisces. So for wrapping it up on Saturn's aspect of the application is the loss of position, goods followed by restoration, by the efforts of preservations. Yeah, like, just don't fuck off with that stuff. Like for Pisces, it'll be the loss of position. So you basically, like with what's happening in Vancouver, where the roads got swept away by water, Pisces will do that to you. It'll take all of your fortunes and it can undercurrent it'll yeet the fuck out of your life, right? And so you just got to be kind of careful with that stuff. And so dealing with Saturn of Jupiter, you've got good fortune, Saturn of Mars, powerlessness or ambition, depending on which way you go. Saturn of the Sun, it will be unfortunate, danger of miserable death. Like you can fuck with your roommates, you can fuck with your house, you can just do all sorts of stuff. Venus is inconsistency of will and poor choice of partners in marriage when you start using Saturn and Venus. So if they're making a poor decision in your conjuring, you're trying to use Venus, for its love. What you need to overcome is the inconsistency of behaviors that the Saturn and Venus aspect are responsible for. So that becomes what you have to balance out by other elements, such as the zodiac applications, so that you're channeling the astrological natures and those behaviors into the work that you're doing, so that you get that manifesting energy to balance out, so it's not so caustic on the individual. As you work with Saturn of Mercury, it is infirmity. Unreliable, obstructions, aptitude for sciences, powerlessness before the trials of life. So Saturn and Mercury is the trials of life. So essentially what that means is that your communication is going to be tested, your actions are going to be tested, all of these things, and they're going to transform you. And it's just, which direction will they transform you? Will it be good? Will it be bad? Right? So then the Saturn of the moon is the secret fear of death, but it also discourages the will and destroys creative activity within the mind. Adversity is often met with an unfavorable end. So with that, I'm going to break these videos up into different sections. So that's the Saturnine aspect of it. So I hope that if you use this stuff and you're working with these materials, that you have those understandings that what you're doing is to mitigate and balance out the negative conditions that those things are responsible for. So if you're pulling somebody's astrological chart and you see there are these links to those planets, links to these astrological forms, or if you're not working on an astrological table, you're working in just what your spells are going to be made out of, it is the application of those forces. It is the underpinning of your sorcery, so that what you do, how you do, why you do, balances out the negative, so you can temper down the powerlessness of Mars under Saturn, whereas you can elevate the Jupiter of Saturn. And so by using a yin ingredient for the Mars of Saturn, using a yang ingredient for the Jupiter of Saturn, you have the means to lessen the quality of powerlessness while boosting the good fortune in that respect. So this will end it for my conversation for you on Saturn and its relationship to the zodiac. So I hope you have fun, and I will see you next time.